The KRGS Doors Show, proudly brought to you by KRGS Doors. For all your shopfront roller shutters, roller grills, fold enclosures and bifold doors, visit www.krgsdoors.com.au. Welcome to the KRGS Doors Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Blackman. The aim of our podcast is to talk to cool people with cool stories, whether it be our suppliers, customers, staff, other business owners, or people from different walks of life, and get to know them a bit better. If you're interested in coming on, drop us a line or email, or connect with us via Facebook, and we can have a chat to see what we can do. On today's podcast, I'm joined by KRGS Doors Managing Director Mr. Clayton Blackman and Numbers Guru and Rugby League Supercoach Jim Pizanias. Jim is the founder, owner and director of MPK Accountants based at Kogarah in New South Wales, and in this current financial climate is the brains you want to have on your side. Besides counting numbers on BAS statements, Jim's other love is also counting tackles, being head coach of the Cronulla Sharks Under 16s rugby league team, assistant coach at Newtown Jets, the longest running club in Australian rugby league history, and assistant coach of the Greek Rugby League team, who have recently qualified for the 2021 World Cup. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Jim Pizanias. Jim, welcome to the podcast. What is the Jim Pizanias story?
Married, lovely wife Connie and two boys. Now they're, Terry's 22 and Nicholas is 19, so they're sort of out of our hair, but every now and again I'll get a phone call saying, Dad, can you fill up the car? So hopefully one day they'll...
Just send money, Dad, send money.
They'll get out there on their own, but no, all good in that department, mate.
They're both still living at home?
They're both still living at home. Not that we see them much, but they're living at home.
Why would you want to move out?
That's exactly what Terry
says.
Cheap
rent, Jim?
Yeah, no rent.
No.
Exactly what I'm saying, mate. It's cheap.
No rent's good rent for them.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Are they playing footy, mate, still? Or?
No, Nicholas did till he was about 13 or 14, but then got to high school and sort of give it away. He was a little halfback and having 110 kilogram.
I know how you feel.
Forwards, yeah. Running at you, he decided I might give this a miss, and he stopped playing. Terry never played, but they're both Oztag players, so they do a fair bit of that.
You still coaching at Oztag when they're playing?
I have time now with Sharks and Newtown and work.
It's only so many hours in the day, mate.
That's exactly right.
Mate, how did you start in the accountant industry?
Okay, yeah, so look, back in, obviously I played a little bit of grade with St George, and at that time you had to do something as well to fill in your time, so I really enjoyed accounting and numbers at school.
Yeah.
So I decided I'll give that
the great James Cook Sports Institution, mate, it was, eh?
So yeah, I decided to give that a crack, which I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the numbers side of it, and became an accountant and worked in town for 5 years in 91, in 91. So worked in a chartered firm in town for 5 years, and then got a call up.
Cut your teeth on that?
Yeah, so that was really tough. It was a tough grind to learn, especially in town. They're really, they really expect a lot from these chartered firms, which was good, and we did plenty of hours there. So went from there into a suburban firm, which was quite large, and they did that for 5 years, and then decided I'm going to give this a crack. So
where was the suburban firm at, mate?
In San Susie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that.
You weren't a partner in that one?
No. Just again learnt my trade there, and we were doing a lot of hours, and I thought at one stage I thought maybe it's not for me working till 1 o'clock in the morning every day. That happened for a few years, but you got to learn a fair bit from start to finish, so
and then
it was really good. And then I thought, I'm going to try and go out on my own.
If I'm doing it for 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to do it for myself.
Yeah, exactly. So that happened in a good time. When the GST came in 1999, I think it was. Yep. So that's when I sort of thought I'm going to quit work and try and do it on my own, and then haven't looked back since. From there, it went to a four partner firm, which was quite large in the suburbs. And we were quite big. And now it's gone a full circle, so we're sort of, we're all at different stages of our lives. So, we're one partner's gone, and then another one wants to sort of semi-retire. So we're it's gone from a 4-partner firm, and slowly now it'll be a small boutique sort of accounting practice. It's going really well. We're at our peak we had like 16 accountants there and a couple of admin staff and things like that. So it was quite
How many
large.
staff you got now, mate?
I work with 5, plus one admin person too. So that's on my side, and then the other partner's got another 4 or 5, and so forth.
You're based at Kogarah there, mate. You've been there for a long time.
Yeah, we went for basically my whole business life was being in Kogarah. So I grew up in Kogarah, and I think I haven't left there since.
No, mate.
Since I was born. So
can't take the boy out of Kogarah.
Yeah, that's right.
Were your parents had an accounting background at all?
No, not at all. And that's probably where it's come from. You know, my parents' accountant used to come to our house, and I used to see him come in and suited up and
every
with his little bag and a computer and do the work and sign off, and away you go. So I thought, this is quite interesting. I used to sit down and watch him pull all these numbers from the air at that stage, because it was a little bit easier back then until this GST came and all this compliance. But so I thought, this is quite interesting. Could interest me, and that's where it's come from.
Yeah, good one.
You're now with MPK
Accountants.
How did that start?
Like I said, I was doing it on my own, and it was going okay, but it got to a stage where, they were looking at bringing in the GST, and there was just so much work involved. And I just thought, I don't know if I can do this on my own. And through seminars and conferences and that.
Bit of networking?
Networking. I met a couple of which ended up being my partners, and we were there for a very long time as partners. So, and that worked quite well. When the GST came in, it was just easier to work with 2 or 3 people and employ some people because of all the work and all the compliance that came with the GST. So that probably helped us, to where we are now. The start of that GST was you could say a blessing for us. Yeah. In the way in the growth that we had, but that's how it started.
Is MPK mainly focused on business to business, or you do personal finances as well?
We do everything. We do from your normal, salary and wage earner who works at Coles to clients that turn over 100 million. So, when we have everything in between. So we don't really focus on one particular, one particular person or business. It's we try and to be honest, it's probably the best way for us, because our $100 client has now become a $50,000 client because he's bought a business, he's grown, we've helped him grow, and that's what we do. And our business has sort of changed now, in a sense that we really like going into businesses that are struggling a little bit and try and help them recover and get back to a profit situation. So that advisory service that we have is quite good. And we've also turned around now, and it's not just all compliance. We'll have a one-stop shop where you can just do all your bookkeeping, all your payroll, everything through our practice as well. So it has changed over the years, where your individuals and small businesses to everything now.
And just on that, what's the biggest changes that you've seen in the accounts industry?
Definitely the GST came in. When GST came in, it's just all compliance work. GST comes in, there's a lot more reconciliation work and things like that, especially with the tax office. In the old days, it was funny when I first started, and the old fella, God bless him now, he's passed away. He was the accountant down at the suburban place I was at. You'd go somewhere and you'd work backwards, He'd ask the client, what sort of profit do you want? And then work backwards. But back in those days, and that's how it worked. There was nothing to reconcile back to or anything. But now it's just too hard, You're doing your GST, whether it be monthly or quarterly, and tax office has figures that they can go back to and reconcile.
Collecting it for the government, mate.
That's right. And that's, that's a big change when you talk about changes. That was a massive change. Like, we were working, it felt like, us accountants were working for the tax office. Like, we were giving them information and just keep giving them compliance stuff. And that was for them to come back and have a crack at a business if they really wanted to, So that was probably pretty.
We're all collecting, collecting to pay for the government.
Even the businesses, they're collecting they're collecting for the government as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly has changed over time, and as you said,
definitely, mate.
Even little things like the GST coming in, and then even recently with
even STP now recently, with payroll. Now they know everything.
Yeah.
Before we could work backwards and make adjustments if we needed to, and now it's all done weekly. They've got everything weekly, so your superannuation, they know it the whole bit now.
Would they be the type of things, the biggest challenges that you face in the industry?
Yeah, the biggest challenge is obviously trying to educate, clients and businesses changes and to keep working and put processes in place to be able to keep moving forward. That's one of the biggest challenges, but it's a challenge that we like to take on and change the mentality of people that own a business.
And especially too in a lot of those businesses, their forte wouldn't be numbers
Exactly
or bookkeeping and things like that.
And that's why we decided, we're probably a one-stop shop here where we can sort of come to some agreement and we do everything. And then they just focus on what they do well, and that's bringing in more business and servicing their clients.
Yeah,
and it's worked, and I can tell you it's worked more recently. We've done that with a few clients, and the turnaround's been unbelievable, where they don't have to worry about going home and doing, putting in things in MYOB and trying to reconcile, and then taking hours and hours after they've had a hard day's work, where they should be just having to relax and then recharge the batteries and go again. And it's worked quite well for a few clients.
Yeah, you've heard them stories of the plumber that he's worked all day from 6 till 6, and then he's got to come home and do the books as well.
Yeah, or the florist who's up at 4 a.m. and finishes at 6 at night, and then he's got to go do the books as well.
Yeah,
it's
hard work.
It is hard.
What's the number one tip that you'd give small businesses regarding the accounts
definitely
process?
Now is processes. You've got to get your accounting packages and obviously with STP, everything. You got to have ready to go from day one, rather than just going in blind and then trying to fix it as you go, because that's where that's where issues arise. So definitely getting all your accounting processes in place. Whether it be which accounting package you use, and then definitely knowing how to use that package, not thinking you know how to use it, because then it just then it goes south when things go wrong.
It can certainly make your life a hell of a lot easier too, knowing all the tips and tricks and
Exactly.
reports to run and
so
things
being
like
educated, you've got to educate yourself. If you want to do it yourself, you've got to educate yourself. It's not being able to do it on the run, because that just doesn't work.
So gone are the days of running 2 sets of books and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, that's gone. That's gone now, mate, with the GST and all compliance work. That's gone out the window a fair while.
Now, how long's MPK been around for?
Yeah, since 1999.
Okay, so...
Yeah, so we've been going a while.
We've been going a while.
Yeah.
What's changed with picking up customers? How did you first get new customers?
Well, that's
how
interesting. Obviously through word of mouth when I left and went out on my own, and through connections with with football and things like that. I picked up a few clients, and then from there it was just all word of mouth. We have never ever advertised.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I don't even think we've got our website running at the moment either. Social media, nothing like that. It's just all been through word of mouth. And I guess if you look after your clients and service them properly, they're going to have a good thing to say about you, and that's how it just evolved. To be honest, a lot of PR work as well. You're chatting to people and they know what you do, and
you're very
and
good
they're
at
comfortable.
that.
Yeah,
You're good at
and
that,
they're
mate.
comfortable. So that's how that's how it's been done. And it's been done like that since 1999. I don't think we've ever advertised. To be honest, since '99, our website's only been up and running maybe a couple of years, and now it's down again, and we'll get it up and running soon.
Good.
Would that
bring you up to speed, mate, with social media and so forth?
Yeah, I'm
Look
looking
at this.
into that.
This podcast, mate. This will go straight onto the MPK socials.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that type of thing that servicing your customer, is that what you put your success down to?
Oh, 100%. I feel like I'm a part of their business, and that's how I've always sort of that's been my motto. If I'm part of their business and help them grow, and that they're happy and I'm happy as well, that's what I want to see. I want to see them, enjoying their life as well as making, their bottom line is improving every year.
Well,
and if I can make those subtle changes and they're improving and they're happy, well, I'm happy too.
Obviously, here at KRGS, Jim, that's one of the good things that we get to work with you to see how you've been able to help us and so forth.
Yeah.
And work alongside. And we've had to make some changes.
Had to make some changes, but hopefully, those changes, you can see that they're improving your business, and you're happy with that, and so am I. I enjoy it, like I said.
Yeah, and it's been one of the good things to be able to work alongside you and your team with our business.
I will disclose that Jim is our accountant here at KRGS. And just on the back of that service side of things, it is quite easy. You pick up the phone, ask questions, not only to Jim but to the team, and they're answered all. Hey, I don't have the answer now. I'll come back to you. And
that's the one thing I've always, ever since day one of my business, is always get back to your clients. If it's not straight away, it's got to be on that day.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is, and that's just respect.
Correct.
Whether I have the answer or not, I'm going to give you a ring back and let you know. Yes,
yeah.
I'm onto it. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's
like I said, we're not. We're like a doctor, I guess, a general GP. So we're not going to know everything.
No.
But and there's plenty to learn, and you learn every day, and that's the thing with accounting. If you're not up to scratch and you don't do your seminars and your webinars and all this training that you've got to do, you're going to fall behind, and that means your clients fall behind, and that's what we don't want.
Well, even just on that, I know we had you coming in to record the podcast quite early, a couple of months ago, and the night before Scott Morrison come out and announced some stimulus packages around COVID and that type of thing, and you're like, hang on, guys, I've got to put it on hold on flat chat because it changed so quickly.
Yeah, it does, yeah. And that sort of thing is, it has never happened before. So
no,
we're all learning, and to be honest, we got thrown in the deep end as accountants because they just said, here it is, do your best.
Yes.
And we had to learn.
There's no rule book, mate, because we haven't had this situation in the past.
So we sat down with our team, and we all looked at each other and said, well, we've got to learn it. No one's going to show us how to do it. So, and that took a fair bit of time. But we got there, and everyone's happy.
And not only that, it changes day to day now. Lately that, hang on, no, we're doing it this way. No, we're now going to do it this way. So you've got to learn on the run as well.
That first day, Jimmy, after coronavirus broke out, you must have had every business, including us, ring you.
Yeah.
Did your phone just not... Did your phone go into meltdown?
24/7. I was getting phone calls, and you know what? I was obliged to just pick them all up because I just knew who was on the other end.
Yeah.
And what they were feeling, because I was feeling the same thing. No one knew what to expect.
No.
So you just had to sort of assure them that we're onto it. And
the small businesses are looking for answers.
That's right.
I've got to ring the accountant because he knows better than what I do.
The problem was the accountant didn't know either because it only happened half an hour before, So, but we got there. It took a while, and like I said to my team, we might not be able to get all those hours back that we put in, but hopefully we come out of it the other end and all our businesses are okay. Which knock on wood they have.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
On that too, it would have been as soon as the government said they're giving out free money or giving out money. Eyes lit up.
Lining up, weren't they?
They lit up like dinner plates, going, "How do I get a piece of this?"
That's right. Yeah. But you know what? Look, I must admit the old ScoMo there, he did okay.
He
did the best
job.
He could do.
Absolutely, mate.
And,
same again.
like you said, we've never ever had this before.
There was no rule book to go back. And
he stood up,
and
yeah.
He's been criticised for his leadership.
Yeah.
But mate, his leadership this time around was really good, and like some elbow and so forth with the opposition, mate. I hadn't seen him off nobbies. He hadn't been spotted off nobbies. He did lead well, and I just hope that a lot of people remember that.
That's right.
How does that, being an accountant, and recently the numbers have come out to say that, we've over budgeted and now we've got this surplus. What are your thoughts on that as an accountant?
Well, mate, as an accountant, a budget's a budget, isn't it? It can go either way. So for you to be under budget, well, that's success, I think. So you've got. Hopefully, he's got that to do a few other things, which he's trying to do now with his construction.
He's in a bit of a lost, isn't he, Josh? Yeah. Because if he goes over budget, they blow up and say you're over budget. Now when he's under budget,
I was really surprised with they've had to come out and say something. The opposition, he's under budget, and they all got up and screamed and yelled.
Yeah,
it's a budget's a budget. A budget's there. You budget on certain things, and if it doesn't happen, then you work out why. But it didn't go the other way, so I
Yeah.
can't see it being an issue.
I think 9 times out of 10 you'd rather be under budget than over budget.
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the podcast, but we have a word from our sponsor. The KRGS Doors Clear Vision polycarbonate roller shutter enables clear-through vision of your merchandise and natural light transmission, whilst providing a high level of security and protection from the elements, vermin and dust. The design of the aluminium slat alternated with the full-width clear polycarbonate allows the roller shutter to give you an eye-catching dynamic door. To add to the attention-grabbing element, the polycarbonate is also available in our rainbow-coloured range with the colours Sky, Tiger, Lime and Smoke, which allows the shop to stand out even when closed. The aluminium slat can be powder-coated in the standard Dulux range to suit your decor. For more information, visit www.krgsdoors.com.au or call 1800 897 822. Now back to the podcast.
Now, away from work, mate, how do you relax?
Relax.
What's
what was that? Now I'm relaxing because there's no football. But you know what? That was my relaxation, going. So I'd spend half my day at work and then the other half at coaching. So, that really, mixed things up, and it was a good balance for me. I could sort of not so much shut up shop and not worry about, counting, but at least it drew me away from that for a few hours.
It was a distraction,
and
mate.
do something else. Which I really enjoyed, and this year's been even more enjoyable because I got back to coaching some young kids, and that was really good.
Jimmy, do you remember where your coaching all started?
I'm just trying to think. Rugby league. To be
Because I know the answer. I'm just wanting to see if you want to know if you know the
I
answer.
can't remember really when it clicked that I wanted to be a coach. I think I finished playing.
What was your first assistant coach's job? Do you remember that one?
No, I don't. My first one. I'm just trying to think.
I know who the coach was.
Who was it?
It was me.
Actually, you're probably right. Was it like an under
10s? Under 10s? Was
At
it
Brighton
under 10s?
Seagulls?
Under 10s, was it, Drew? Or later? Under 11s or 12s?
It was Drew's team, wasn't
Drew's
it?
team, yeah.
Yeah, I do remember
Might
that.
have been under. Was it the year we went to the grand final or the 10s?
Were we in the 10s when we were in the grand final?
I think so.
Yeah, it might have been under 1990.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you go.
So you come on, because we were playing together, you and I were
Yeah,
playing together,
That's right.
and you come on as an assistant coach with me.
Yes, that's right. I do. You know what? Yeah, you just,
And mate, you've
jogged
just
the memory.
gone on to bigger and better things.
Well, I wouldn't say it. Yeah.
That's where it all started.
That was you were still playing for Newtown Jets then.
Yes, that's right. I was too. Yeah. Come down. Yeah, you're right.
You had the
That
blue
would have
had the
been
blue
in
cord.
90. What year was that?
1990.
1990.
1990.
You had the blue Cortina.
I did.
Hey,
I love that car.
we had a few trips to Urco Oval in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
They were the days.
Wow. That was a long time ago.
There you go, mate. 30 years now,
30
Jimmy.
years ago.
Wow.
30
30 years,
years.
eh?
How's that?
I turned 50 during COVID. How good was that?
Yes.
So you couldn't even have a big party, mate, huh?
Yeah, had a party with the wife and 2 boys. That was it.
You're looking fit for 50.
I'd try.
You're doing.
I wasn't before this. To be honest, it was. I'll tell you a funny story. I rocked up to. I obviously got the Sharks Harold Matt's job and rocked up and tried to put the training gear on and wouldn't fit, mate. With this, slim cut, bloody training gear they have these days. So I decided I needed to get fit, and that was back in September.
So they
last
threw
year,
you a 2XL and didn't fit, mate.
Yeah. Didn't
Said,
fit,
shit, this is a bit of a wake-up call.
Yeah, it was.
So, on that, and for our listeners, Jim is the under-16s Cronulla Sharks coach. He's the assistant coach at Newtown Jets, the oldest rugby league club in Australia, and he's also the assistant coach of the Greek
Rugby League side,
who qualified for the first time, I believe,
First time, mate.
in
World Cup.
2021 World Cup, which
Well
is
done,
a
mate.
tremendous
Yeah, thanks.
effort. How did you get involved in the Greek team?
Back in, it could have been 2005, they were looking around for players. I'd retired back then. I was 34 years old, turning 35, and I got a call from Terry Liberopoulos and said, "Oh, we're getting a Greek side together to play Italy at Kogarah. Would you be interested?" I said, "Yep." Even, I was in retirement, but I said, "Yep, I'm in." But
Just to
and
play
that
at
was
Jubilee
just
again,
to
mate.
play at Jubilee, for a national side, which was so, mate. I took about 3 months off work and just trained, leading up to that game, like I was a professional rugby league player, and I enjoyed it to get through one game, and I did, and I went on to, and then after that I come out of retirement, and played probably another 3 or 4 years. So I was about 37, 38, just in the tertiary league and things like that.
Yeah.
And that's how I sort of got into coaching after that. Did a couple of coaching, captain, whatever you call it, player coaches roles and things like that. And that's where I got into the coaching. But played for Greece, and then Steve Georgialis said, why don't you help me when I retired? And that's where it's
Who's Steve Georgialis with at the moment? What
He's the assistant at the Bulldogs.
Dean Pay.
Yeah, with Dean Pay. So that's where it all started. And, it's taken us 16 years, but, we got to the World Cup, so that was... That's something
it's exciting,
we've
mate, for you.
worked hard for the last 16 years, and it's going to be real exciting, yeah.
How many games do you play there, minimum?
4.
Yeah.
We've got a pretty tough pool there. We've got Samoa, France, and England. So that'll be interesting. We just got our training base, so we'll be in Sheffield. So I don't know what Sheffield's like. I've got to look it up, but that's where we'll be
I'm
based
tipping
for
it's
the next
cold, mate.
4 or 5 weeks, yeah.
So is there a huge rugby league competition over in Greece?
No, there's a competition there with there's 8 teams, I think it is. So they're going great guns. The Greeks have really taken it on, and they're tough buggers. And coming from all the boys have to go to the army, and there's a lot of wrestling and things like that in Greece. So and contact. So they've really taken it upon themselves. Whereas 20, 30 years ago, you wouldn't see a Greek boy playing rugby league.
No.
But now it's really coming on in leaps and bounds, and a couple of them has sort of kicked on and gone and play, in Division 2s in England and some in France. So they've really taken it on, and there's been a heap of improvement. But like I said, the last 16 years, myself and Steve and a few of the other crew have gone every year, and we've done a lot of coaching clinics and showing them the ropes and things like that. So and it's really kicking off there.
So obviously you're trying to the World Cup, mate. You'll try and take as many NRL players and reserve grade players as possible.
We're trying to get a list together, and we also want to take the probably. I don't know how many, but there'll be a few Greek boys that will be in the squad, which will be good.
Local.
Local products,
Excellent.
Which will be a great experience for them.
For the future.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, certainly. You want to set that baseline, and that they can take that back as well.
They take that back, and they've got something to aspire to, moving forward.
Yeah, for sure.
You also, mate, had a short stint there at Newcastle Knights with Nathan
I did
Brown.
In 2016 when Brownie was there.
Coach?
So Brownie was at St George while we were there.
Yep.
While I was there, he was playing ball when I was at President's Cup level, I think it was. But, I knew him, gave him a phone call, and he said, come in for an interview, and that was an eye-opener. He did a great job there, getting that squad together. And even now, I know that they're going well, but he's got a lot to do with...
Well, he set the platform, mate, didn't he?
Yeah, he's got a lot to do with a lot of those signings and things like that, But, it was really good to get in there and see how NRL run and all the background that goes with it and all the hard work that all those coaches do, mate. I'll tell you, an NRL coach, he's worth his money. They get in there, like Brownie was getting in there at 4 or 5 in the morning, not leaving till 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
They did a lot of hours to run a footy side.
Well, mate, they all age after just in that short stint. Look at Mary McGregor, he's lost all his hair.
Yeah.
Well, Brownie as well.
Brownie's
lost
all
his too.
Yeah,
long locks.
Yeah.
Do you find coaching also helps with business as well?
100% it does, and I think my business helped me with coaching and in man managing. I get a lot of characters as
in
clients,
that team environment
as clients, and then you take it over and you get a lot of different characters in rugby league. Players, every single one's different, and you've got to treat them differently. And I find that that's helped me a lot. I get along with all my players, which is good. But they know there's a fine line there between. Getting along every day and to muck around, and then when you got to do the job, and I found that with my 16-year-olds too. At the start they were looking at me as if I was some sort of bad guy, but in the end we can be friends too.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a fine line, but if you get the balance right. And I did that with a couple of them. There was one kid there who is in the same boat as me. He was 16, but he was 126 kilos, big boy. So that's when I got on the scales, and as a team we had a laugh, and I was 133, and I said to him, you got to lose X amount, and you'll play, and he got there, and he didn't get there the first 2 weeks, and he knew why he wasn't playing, but after that he was going really good, he got down to about 100 and just under 120, but he he was unstoppable.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
know, so those little things, and he was my mate. We a little bit every now and again. I'd say, "What do you got in your bag?" So he'd give me a packet of chips or something like that was in his bag, and things like that. So we got on. All the boys would laugh, and every week the boys would say, "What's in your bag?" And you would have a look in his bag, and it went from chips to some veggies or something like that in there, or fruit. So there's ways to get around.
Absolutely, mate.
And I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Good.
And it does come down to that sort of man management on each level. And just recently you sort of watched the Last Dance with Phil Jackson and Dennis Rodman. I need a break. I need to go to Vegas for 48 hours. And they're in the middle of the season. You let him go and have his bender and come back and they win the comp type of thing. Yeah. So you really got to understand that individual person on that level.
And everyone's different, mate.
You haven't had any players that need to go to Vegas?
No, not at this stage.
Not yet.
I know a lot of them would like to, especially the New South Wales Cup boys. But, and after those 2 wins we had...
How was that? Just on that, you won the grand final. So I believe you finished 7th in the comp?
Yeah, we did. We were running last the first 10 weeks of the comp, I think it was. We were looking at so one day we went to train and we were sitting there with Maddo and thinking, what do we do? And you just got to keep plugging away. Yeah, you got to just keep plugging away and be positive. And, one win led to another, and then we got a bit of a roll on, and all of a sudden we were in the 8. And then from there... Mate, you got to be at the right time, right place at the right time, and injuries and things like that.
Yeah.
So it all sort of fell into place, and then we got Blake back, Brails. So he just, qualified, and then Toby Rudolph comes off a knee reconstruction and is just finding form and things like that. So everything's got to fall into place, and we were quite confident, going into. Not that we were allowed to bet, but we're looking at it coming 7th, and we were like, 13-1 or something.
We're a chance
to win
here.
the comp, and I thought we're a chance here.
And 2 monumental finishes in both.
Unbelievable!
Both
like the first
finals.
one, I was in the coach's box, and I actually got up and was opening the door, and then I heard a big scream, and I looked around, and we were scoring.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually get to see the try until afterwards, but
you thought you'd rolled up your tent, mate. You thought you were done.
Yeah, and then the week after to nearly identical. It was just
win the championship, the state championship. It was that, just on that, and for those that haven't seen it, you probably need to get on YouTube and watch it. It's 2 last 30-second tries to win the grand final and win the state championship. Similar play, kick, pass, that type of thing.
Over the top, and it was just unbelievable.
Just got the bounce.
That bounce, the national one, that bounce was...
Yeah.
There was
3 Burley Bears.
All of the Burley Bears all around it, and it just went to
just
our
bounced straight over the top, straight into our bloke's hands.
And that was a tough game, because to get up, you win your grand final, and then to try and get up the next week.
Yeah, well, they'd been on the piss for a week, I suppose, hadn't they?
Well, yeah, maybe not a
Maybe
week,
a couple
maybe
of
2 or
days.
3 days, and then to get up. But they took it pretty serious, because they'd been there before and done that and got flogged. So
did they practice that at training, or was it just, hey, we need a miracle play, let's...
No, we didn't practice that. But you know what, Billy Magoulias, mate, he's a worker, and he's always at training early, and he'll take footies home and things like that. What he does with them, I don't know. But obviously, whatever he does, it's worked. And he's that kind of guy that, the coach will say, well, don't do that. But if you see something, he'll do it. And, mate, they came off, and that's what sort of a player he is. And I'm quite surprised that he's not playing at the Sharks. But he'll get his crack, and that's what sort of a player he is, mate. He just, if he sees something, he's going to go for it. And I'm glad they paid off.
They're going to put a monument of him down in Henson Park.
Oh, they love him. They had a beer after him, named after him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that Newtown a beer did some sort of promotion. And he rung me after 3 or 4 weeks after the grand final. He goes, I've just got 2 boxes of beer in my name just sent to me.
On coaching, how does that make you feel when you see players that you've had involvement with then go on to play first grade and things like that, thinking, hey, I might have only coached them for 1 or 2 years, but I may have had an impact on their style of play or something like that.
Yeah, well, in our coaching, where we coach, that's what it's all about. It's about getting these blokes to that next level, And to see the Sharks now, and probably half their team is our
former Newtown Jets.
Former Newtown Jets side. That whether we had an impact on them or not, well, I'd like to believe we have in some way or another, and which we have, because a lot of these guys are still messaging me and saying, hi, how you going? And even, Kyle Flanagan, who's at the Roosters,
Yeah,
he'll
it's
still
good, isn't it?
message you every now and again, say, hi, how you going? And
He's
things
going well,
like
mate,
that.
isn't he?
Yeah, he's going real well. So, yeah, look, that's what we're there for. And it's really hard in New South Wales Cup, mate. You get guys that have just been playing NRL and then they get dropped back, and
Well, they're kicking
sometimes
stones.
they don't want to be there. But if
Yeah.
you can motivate them enough to say,
Yeah.
well, if you're playing well with us,
You'll
it's
go
not you'll
gonna
go back there, and if you don't go back there, someone else is going to pick you up.
Yeah.
And that's what's their motivation. We've got to try and get into them, which I think Greg Madison's he's a champ at that. He's really good, and that's something.
He's a hard worker too, mate, isn't he?
So he's one that really gets them going, and players want to play for him.
Yeah.
And in the end, they'll get rewarded for it, whether it's a new contract with their present club or somewhere else. Look at Jamin Jolliffe, couldn't get it at Cronulla, now he's playing first grade.
Tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
No, tremendous. Now, mate, to finish off the podcast, we ask all our guests our fast 5 questions, and they're just rapid fire, just to get to know you a little bit better. So, what would be your last meal?
Mate, I've just put in a outdoor oven at home, so I like to cook a nice pork in there. So yeah, that'd be my last meal.
Nice.
Sounds
Very
good.
nice.
Yeah.
What, invitations lost in the mail or something, mate? What's
I'm just trying to perfect it. Once I do, that invitation's coming.
Righto.
Become beautiful.
Lock it in.
Your drink of choice?
Mate, now that I'm a bit healthy, I try to get a healthy drink in, so I go the vodka lemon lime.
Okay.
You were a bourbon man.
Yeah, I was a bourbon and Coke, so
Yeah.
I can't drink Coke anymore,
Yeah.
so I've gone the vodka.
Yeah, you did love a bourbon Coke.
A favourite holiday destination?
Without doubt, Hawaii. You love Hawaii.
Hawaii?
Yeah.
It's it is tough to beat, and from Australia, it's not too far away.
Yep.
Good weather, good people too.
Yeah, that's right.
Any tattoos?
Yeah, I have got one, and I got it really late in my life. Yeah, when I was 40, we were in Hawaii, had a bit of a bender, and went to the tattoo place. My wife wasn't happy, but I went in there and she said, "What do you want?" I said, "I don't know." She goes, "What star sign are you?" I said, "Aries." She goes, "Okay." So she's put my Aries sign on the back of my shoulder.
Good
There
work.
you go.
Yeah.
So now for your 50, is there anything else?
Yeah.
Or
So
is
next,
that
time, so next time you're back in Hawaii,
Could possibly
Go,
be, but
yeah.
at this stage, no.
a big eagle on the chest or something like that?
I don't have the chest for it.
win the World Cup, mate, and then you can.
Win the World
home.
Cup, definitely, but let's win a game first.
Yes.
We'll go from
Thought
there.
you might have got the Newtown Jets emblem, mate, after last year.
No, to be honest, that's a story like we were on our bender, and about the second day I ring my wife, said I've got my tattoo. She went off. So I was just testing her there. So a few of the boys did it, but no, I didn't.
Finally, if heaven does exist, what would God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Welcome, and let's go and party.
Not in Hawaii, though.
Not in Hawaii.
No.
Sounds good. Mate, that wraps up our podcast. Thank you very much for coming on. You should be extremely proud of what you achieved in business, and hopefully that continues along in the future, and also in your personal life with coaching and things like that, mate. So we've known you quite a long time, as we sort of mentioned there. From you and Clayton played footy together back in the day, and I believe you both went to school together. Was that correct as well?
We went to the same school. We went in the
Yeah.
same year. Jimmy's a couple of years older than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, mate, but yeah, thank you very much for coming on, and you should be proud of what you've achieved.
Thanks very much. Very enjoyable.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, Jimmy. Cheers, mate.
Ta.
That wraps up our chat with Jim Pizanias from MPK Accountants, who you can find at 02 9553 6300 for all your accounting needs. If you have missed any previous episodes of the KRGS Doors podcast, you can download them from our website, www.krgsdoors.com.au/podcasts, or on your favourite podcast player, search KRGS Doors. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to ensure you don't miss any future episodes. This also boosts our ranking and my ego. The other thing I suggest, if you have enjoyed the podcast, head to your favourite podcast player and leave a review or a rating. On our next episode, we speak to Ross Strudwick, CEO of Struddies, Queensland's longest-running sports retailer, manufacturer and importer. Struddies have been manufacturing sporting apparel and equipment for the past 45 years. As well as business, Ross knows more than you have forgotten about rugby league, having played for his state and country and coached around the world. I've been your host, Drew Blackman, and you've been fantastic for tuning in today. As always, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. Thanks. Till next time. The KRGS Doors Show, proudly brought to you by KRGS Doors. For all your shopfront roller shutters, roller grills, folding closures and bifold doors, visit www.krgsdoors.com.au.